What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. So, welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. I have got a star-studded panel for you guys today. Joining to my right is none other than David Sheldon. How you doing today, sir?
I am good. Thank you very much for having me. Very, very excited for this episode. I'm in a new location for a one-off. Couldn't get my normal location, so I'm now up in my bedroom next to my DVD collection. So very, very excited to get talking about All In and some WWE video games, which should be very exciting. I have a collection of them going back to 2004. I think so. It's going to be extremely embarrassing when I inevitably lose this, but very excited. Let's get at it.
Yes. We've got a jam-packed episode, which we'll get into just shortly. But of course, down below is none other than El Jefe, the head of Wrestling Republic, none other than Ben Allison. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I said after the last quiz when I won it, the poster quiz, that I've retired from quizzes. I was going to just quit them, but unfortunately I got the call from Chaos that I needed to step in today. So here I am, but just like Shawn Michaels' return at Crown Jewel 2018, we're going to pretend it didn't happen when I inevitably get thrashed in this.
Now, what the good thing about it, this was actually a team game, so it's not gonna be, it's not everyone for themselves. Don't worry.
Oh,
So
okay.
there you go. So yeah, so you're good. You're good. Your title is still safe for now. But yeah.
For now, Ben Allison. For now, I'm coming for it. I'm coming for you.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to retire, aren't I?
Yeah, maybe if just to save yourself. And of course, last but not least, down to the bottom right is none other than Dryzzy back again. How you doing today, sir?
I am good. It is early in the morning, but I am here just for you, Chaos. Just
We
for you.
appreciate it. Don't worry. I'll owe you a beer. Don't worry. It's all good. So yeah, like I said, we got a jam-packed episode for you guys. We are going to be talking about a certain event called AEW All In, as well. You may have heard of it. And of course, we're going to be talking about the show afterwards, which is All Out. And obviously, regarding their planning regarding that show as well. Well, both of them actually. So we're going to dive into that, and of course, a return of an old staple: 20 questions. If you've been here since the beginning of Take It to the Table's inception, we used to do this a lot with Rides and Mr. Rhymes and Matthew. And I just thought, let me just bring it back with a little twist. We're going to do it instead of wrestlers. We're going to do it for WWE games as well. So make sure you stick around for that. So, of course, as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And without further ado, let us take it to the table. Yes. Oh, David, yes. Of course. So, let's get straight to it. So, as of this recording, we are 4 days away. Is it 4 days? Yeah, 4 days away.
Yeah, 4 days.
From certain pay-per-views for a certain pay-per-view called AEW All In. Three of us out of this panel are going to be there in person. Sorry, Ben. But I'm joking. But yeah, we're going to be there live in person. Going to be a part of history. Just a quick for out there. Are you guys excited? All of us. Are you excited for the pay? How's the excitement level for you, basically?
I'm hyped.
You hyped?
They could have announced a card's worth of QT Marshalls. They could have announced a card full of. They genuinely could have announced Luther versus QT Marshall for every single match, and I would be hyped because it's in Wembley, and it's a wrestling show, and I get to be in Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 people. It's like I've been like a bit surprised by the level of vitriol I've seen online about the card itself. Like, I genuinely think the card is really good, and I'm really excited for it. It may not be the world-ending card that I think some people predicted it to be, but like if people go back to like SummerSlam '92 when they came to Wembley, most of that card is rubbish.
That's true.
It's got Nails versus Virgil on it, from what I remember. But people don't remember that. They remember the occasion, and they remember, of course, the main event. I think there's plenty of matches on this that will steal the show. There are a few that I'm a bit anxious about, which we'll get to, but overall, super excited for this. Super excited.
Last night I was watching the Arsenal game, and
Awesome.
all over the stadium they were promoting the event they were promoting AEW All In, and I was like, this is craziness. I couldn't have imagined this a couple of years back. So I mean, they're promoting it very well, and I'm very excited now. I really am.
What about you, Drizzy? What's your thoughts? What's your
I'm
hype level?
I'm very mild in it. I don't think the card's bad at all, but I think it's. I mean, and it's also probably hitting a little bit different for me because I'm more excited for the show afterwards than for All In. Like understand All In is it's like almost a birthday of sorts. This is the show that started AEW, and for it to be in Wembley, being the biggest, I say it's one of the biggest stadiums in the world, and they're selling it out. That is a big deal. So I
Yeah, especially for a
understand.
young company as well. Definitely,
Yeah,
especially
Yeah.
for a young company.
yeah.
I think that's the
So
maddest. I think that's the maddest thing. You've got to remember they started 4 years ago.
Mhm.
4 years ago. I mean, granted, All In was 5 years ago, but 4 years ago since since AEW as a company launched, and we're 80,000 people in Wembley. That's
The
mental.
fact the last All In was 5 years ago is actually mental to me too. It does not feel that long ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%, 100%. So yeah, I mean that was kind of like my overall quote. What I was gonna lead up to in terms of obviously that the main tagline for All In is this is the biggest event in wrestling history. And obviously given the like you said, David, there's a lot of vitriol to the card, but I guess when it comes to that, obviously all the haters of AEW, they were, if people were doubting they weren't going to sell, they were barely going to sell 40,000, let alone 80,000 tickets. That happened. So obviously the next thing they're going to complain about is, or, talk crap about is obviously the matches. So, but like, do you feel like the card itself, like, there's currently 10 matches announced for that. Do you feel like it warrants that tagline of being the biggest event in wrestling history? Because obviously that this was plastered everywhere. They say it
Yeah.
on commentating and wrestling. Like, what
Yeah.
do you think it
I
warrants
think the biggest tag event in wrestling history. I think what they're trying to sell there is the amount of people more than necessary, and then kind of using that, kind of spinning it slightly. Is this the greatest wrestling card you'll have ever seen? No, it's not. Do I think we as wrestling fans have been spoiled when we look at Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita, and have a massive paddy because it's not a Kenny Omega singles match? Absolutely. Now, do I understand the thing of Kenny not having a singles match and that being a frustration for some? Like, for me personally, I'm frustrated I don't get to see an Orange Cassidy singles match because Cassidy's probably my favorite wrestler in AEW, and I'm probably not going to get to see much of him because it's going to be a 6-on-6. But like, we can all have our things. At the end of the day, the card is very strong. Has it been built well? No, it has. Like this week on Dynamite, it felt like we were scrambling matches together with like the Osprey versus Jericho match was one attack segment, bang, the match is on. The 6-man tag, one attack segment, bang, the match is on. It felt like we like the Anarchy in the Arena thing. Granted, it's been Stadium Stampede. Sorry, say more.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to be, unless it's pre-recorded. Like, which is obviously what the first Stadium Stampedes were, which is going to be a bit rubbish for us watching it live in Wembley.
100%.
Then it's going to be Anarchy in the Arena again, which are not my favorite things. But Stadium Stampede is, because the first Stadium Stampede is one of my all-time favorite matches. I love the original Stadium Stampede, but the Anarchy in the Arenas have done nothing for me, so I'm fingers crossed on that one. But bit of a tangent there, sorry. But yeah, I think the card is very strong. It's just been booked quite poorly. MJF and Adam Cole has had fantastic build. But in terms of like weekly storytelling, I think a lot of the other matches are just your standard. Punk versus Joe is quite standard. FTR versus Bucks is quite standard. But they're all going to be fantastic matches, and I think the atmosphere of that crowd is going to carry things over, regardless of what they put on the card. And, I wouldn't say there are any major big hitters that aren't injured that we're not getting. There's nobody who I'm like, I can't believe they've been left off the card. There's people like Miro and Hobbs and, people who you'd love to see. Darby. Oh, Darby is wrestling. My bad. Sorry, he's in the tag match. But, like, there's lots of people who you could say, oh, I wanted to see Keith Lee there because he's one of my favorite wrestlers as well. But at the end of the day, like, all the big hitters are there. Punk's there, Omega's there, MJF is there, Cole is there, Moxley's there, Cassidy's there, they're all there, and Sting's there. So I think you'd be hard pressed. I'm surprised at how much people have complained about the card, but I think people have got adequate complaints to make about the build. And I do think they're warranted complaints about the build because it hasn't been as strong. And I'd argue probably the All Out build for the 2 matches they've announced have probably been better built matches than a lot of the stuff that's on All In.
Yeah.
That's kind of part of the issue because you have All Out one weekend and the next All In one weekend and the next weekend All Out. So you're trying to build 2 massive big shows at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no cut concrete way that's gonna make it good for both shows. So
Yeah.
both shows are gonna have to take a hit somewhere.
I'm expecting the most frenetic episode of AEW Dynamite that I have ever seen in my life between All In and All Out. Because I can imagine, like, this week's was bad, the week we've just had. Like, but crikey, it is going to be, every single segment is going to be, here's another match for All Out, here's another match for All Out, please buy the show, please buy the show, please buy the show. And it's like, why put them 2 weeks apart? It's such silly programming.
No, it really is. And I mean, to go back to, the biggest wrestling show ever line, I think they just, they're trying to say that because of obviously it's sold more tickets than more paid tickets than any other wrestling event ever. But in terms of card, I mean, you cannot compare this to, a Hogan Rock, to, Cena Rock, to Hogan Andre. I mean, none of those, like, it's not got, like, MJF and Adam Cole, I'm loving the feud, but you can't compare that main event, to a lot of these, big iconic main events. It's a big show, and it's the biggest. I mean, there's an argument it's the biggest non-WWE show of all time, but even then, I mean, it's one of those things where the card, the storylines, they are not there. I don't even think it's going to be show of the year in terms of that, but in terms of actual match quality, I think it's going to be a very, very fun show. And I mean, it's a stadium show for AEW. Like, it's a huge moment for them historically.
I compare it possibly to do you remember the first Forbidden Door? When the first Forbidden Door got announced, everybody went mental over all of their fantasy bookings of what we wanted to see. And then when we didn't get that, we got different matches. Like, we all, loads of people wanted, like Will Ospreay versus somebody, Will Ospreay versus Danielson. And then when we got Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy, people complained. And then it was the best match on that Forbidden Door card. Granted, that first Forbidden Door card was wrecked with injuries. Yeah. I think this card might have been a bit wrecked with injuries as well, because I'm sure they had a plan for Danielson. I'm sure they had a plan for Jamie Hayter. I'm sure they had a plan for Pac. Yeah. I'm sure they had a plan for all of these people, and they're all injured. So it's like we've got to kind of. But like, for what they've still built, it's there is a valid complaint to be made. There are too many rematches. I think that is a valid complaint to say that a lot of the card is Punk versus Joe we've seen before, the tag we've seen before, MJF Cole we've seen before. I've seen a lot of these things before, but it's like, for me, as I said, maybe sometimes it clouds your judgment because you're just looking at it and going, I get to be there. So it's like, sorry, go on.
That's gonna be it. Yeah, and that's gonna be it. That's the moment.
Yeah,
when you sit there and get the overhead shot and you see Wembley filled to the brim of just people going nuts, that's gonna be. In fact, that's probably gonna be your moment of the year.
Yeah,
that's gonna be your moment of the year, because that is the more important thing. Because the most paid tickets in one of the biggest arenas in the world by one of the top 2 companies in the world.
Yeah, and I also think that like the card will play quite well. I think I think they've done the best job they can of kind of blending the hardcore and casual market. Like, Jericho is on the card in a high profile match. Sting is on the card in a high profile match. These are names that people know. FTR, people will remember from WWE. Adam Cole, people will remember from WWE. And I don't want to keep just going back to who they were in WWE, because that's not fair on AEW. But like, I think they've done a fairly good job of like trying to blend those sort of different things to try and please everybody. They could have done a better job, certainly, but I'm amazed at how brutal some people have been about the card. It's like, you look at that card on paper and it's like, all those matches are going to be good. Even, I think, like, people are complaining about Jericho versus Ospreay. I think that's going to be a lot better than people give it credit for. It's not what I would have done with Ospreay, not what I would have done with Jericho either, but I do think the match will be a lot better than people give it credit for.
I would like to think so, definitely, because to be fair, I thought it was going to be something where when that match was announced, I thought it was going to be at least a tag team match, because obviously Will Ospreay, can Jericho really keep up with Ospreay? So in order to to offset that, maybe him and Guevara versus Ospreay and Takeshita. But yeah, the fact they're actually doing a one-on-one.
Jericho can still go. He's shown he can still go. It's just, unfortunately, he's been lumbered with, like the Adam Cole match at Double or Nothing was pants. But the best part of that match was when they actually wrestled. The worst part of that match was when they tried to put in all the weapon spots and Sabu
shenanigans and
all
all
of that nonsense,
yeah.
and it all just fell flat. But actually, I thought the wrestling, the same thing with, I wasn't a big fan of Jericho and Roderick Strong in the Falls Count Anywhere match, which people really liked. I wasn't a fan. But when they were actually wrestling and they were just chopping each other in the ring, I thought, oh, this is great. And then they spill off into the crowd and it gets really boring. So I actually think like Jericho's going to be able to prove something. This is a match, from the sounds of it, Ospreay's wanted, from what he's talked about in interviews for ages. It's supposed to happen in Japan, pandemic cancelled it.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go out there with a point to prove. Is it going to be the best match of the night? No, it's not. But I think, while I think there are probably better things you could have done with Ospreay, I mean, I get to see him in Rev Pro the night before against Shingo Takagi. That to me is like, because like on paper, I actually think the Rev Pro card is more exciting. Because Rev Pro, but what I mean by that is like, because I'm going to be there, I'm going to be closer to the front than I will be in All In, and I'll get to see Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle and Tomohiro Ishii wrestle and Takagi and Ospreay and Subculture and Mickey James and all of those people. Like, so that gets me Shibata, ELP, all those people I get to see live for the first time, because I've never seen Will Ospreay live for the first time, and he's might be my wrestler of the year for last year and probably will be again this year, and I get to see him twice in one weekend. Like, I'm spoiled as a wrestling fan. I really am. And yeah, I think also this will be what you think about is, for a lot of AEW fans outside of kind of the Forbidden Door shows, this will probably be their first major exposure to Ospreay. Like, they'll have seen the Forbidden Door, they'll have seen the bits and pieces he's done on Dynamite, but like for people who don't watch, because there's a lot of people who don't watch the Forbidden Door shows because I don't know who any of these Japanese wrestlers are. So, like, honest, this will be Ospreay's first match on a straight AEW pay-per-view, won't it? That's not a crossover show. So this will, it'll be fascinating to see how people react to Ospreay, because Jericho will be a good base, I think, for Ospreay to throw himself around and hit him with all his big stuff.
Ben, what's wrestler are you looking most forward to see in person at All In?
Oh, that is a good question. Also quite a difficult one. I mean, I don't know in terms of actually seeing him in the ring, but just seeing him, I think seeing a Sting, that'll be awesome, because he's somebody who I never thought I'd get the opportunity to see wrestle. I mean, like MJF Cole, I'm excited for as well. I think that's going to be very cool. Never seen MJF in person before, so yeah, that's another one which I'm very excited for. And then of course FTR versus Bucks. You can't really go wrong there either.
Yeah, no.
100%. I feel like how you feel about Sting and how I feel about Sting as well. It's quite similar to how I felt about Edge at Clash at the Castle. Just somebody who I never thought I would get the chance to watch wrestle live. And just being able to have that honor is like Sting's probably not going to do a lot other than throw himself off something quite high.
Yeah,
but I get to see Sting live. I don't care. He can do whatever he likes. I get to see Swerve as well, my favorite wrestlers in the world. It's like it's only when you go like further down the card, it's like, well, I get to see them live as well, don't I?
Yeah,
and it's so cool. It's like live wrestling is wonderful, and it's because it's such a novelty in the UK. We don't get it as often at this high level. Granted, there's a lot of stuff in London, which which I'm only now starting to get a chance to see being in university there. But like for the most part, like before Clash of the Castle, I'd been to one wrestling show in my life, and it was a live event where the main event was Big Show versus Randy Orton. So you look at where we are now, like Great Khali wrestled. Yay! So like looking at where we are now, it's like how far we've come. It's magnificent. It's great to see the UK market getting that level of exposure and having people want to come and run shows here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for me, definitely, I'd say is I'm excited to see Will Ospreay in person. I'm excited to see Punk in pride. Like last time I've seen him in person before.
Oh crikey, yeah, Punk.
Last time I saw him was when he faced the Undertaker at Mania. That was the last time I saw him in person. So to see him now, and obviously to see what reception he will get as well, and I'm more excited to see what the crowds, the chants are going to be, because Ben, you and I know about Money in the Bank. The chants were insane. So if AEW crowds, I don't think they're going to hold back. So yeah, it's going to be
I just realized as well, I've never seen Punk wrestle. I've never seen him in person.
Oh, but there you go.
I tell you something that's interesting. This is not to do with Punk necessarily, but I was just thinking about this. So John Moxley, who obviously will be in the Stadium Stampede, I saw John Moxley wrestle right when he debuted for WWE, he was at that live event. He was in a 6-man tag, and it was Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose versus the New Age Outlaws and Sheamus, and it ended in a no contest after like 10 minutes. I can't remember why. To see how far Dean Ambrose is coming to John Moxley, it'd be so bizarre to see him 10 years later. And it also means I then will have seen, since that live event, I will have seen all 3 members of the Shield wrestle since, because Roman and Seth were at the castle, and John Moxley, and just to see where they've come in those 10 years since, because when I went to that live show, I wasn't the biggest, I was only a fairly casual fan, to the point where I didn't know the New Age Outlaws had come back, and I thought they'd come out for a one-off appearance in Cardiff for a live event. That was the level of privilege I thought we had at the time. Tough Luck, same show that it was Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett was the semi-main event. Del Rio versus Swagger. It was a poor show, but I didn't care. I was sick. I was 8 years old and going, yeah.
That was a dark time.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing tantalizing about that card compared to now. It's
absolutely,
crazy
we're so privileged, Even looking at today's live events, we're so privileged compared to where we were back then.
100%. Well, fair enough. Yeah. So I think the hype level is pretty far up there. Except for Dryzzy, so it's maybe hopefully your opinion will change when when the event actually happens.
Once I see everybody, once you get into the moment and you see everybody, I'm like, oh wow, this really is a big deal.
Yeah, 110%. Okay. So yeah, moving on. So obviously, like you said, we got All In this week as of this recording. A week after that is All In. So
All
far,
out.
Sorry, All Out. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah,
in out, shake it all about.
You do the Tony
PG
Cokie
show.
on
Behave yourself. Now, so All Out is obviously the week after. So far, there's only 2 matches announced for All Out. It is, of course, Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus for the TNT title, and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro. Now, like I said, 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away. Only 2 matches announced for, which is meant to be the next official pay-per-view. I don't care what you say. In my opinion, All In is still is a glorified huge house show. That's how I see it.
It's the go home show.
Sorry,
it's the go home show for All Out.
Yeah, it basically is there's a couple throwaway matches in there, and certain things that are really carrying over. But I'm not complaining. It's a big event. But the main focus is meant to be All Out. But there's only 2 matches announced. Same thing with they're doing the same tactic that they did with All In, where they leave it until pretty much the last minute to announce matches. But even really cutting the line right now with All Out. My question to you guys is do you agree with this approach in how they're doing things? It's very haphazard, and very sudden, and announcing what these matches. Does it kind of distort your anticipation for these events? What's your thoughts on these show on these? What's your thought? Go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I'm excited. I am. Like you said, it's difficult to build up, two big, pay-per-views in 2 weeks. And I originally suggested a couple of weeks ago that maybe you do FTR versus the Bucks All In like they have done, and then from there you do CMFTR versus the Elite at All Out, because that would be a way in which you could get people to just buy a pay-per-view even though they weren't expecting to originally, right? So they decide, okay, All In's going to be the biggest show, so that's why I'm going to spend my $50. That happens. They're like, what a great show. They do the big CMFTR versus Elite tease at the end. Now they're like, well, now I've just got to buy All Out. I didn't really want to buy it, but I'm going to find a way to get the $50 and buy the event. I think that's one of the ways you can do it, but it's difficult. And I know some people are saying that All Out's going to be the biggest show. I really don't think so, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. In terms of the AEW World title, I'm sure they're going to do some angle and that'll be what it is. But at least at this moment in time, I'm like, how can you top that card a week later? And who's going to pay $50 again to watch it? I really don't know. It's a really weird move. Nobody's ever successfully done it in wrestling. I mean, on Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast yesterday, Carter was saying that in MMA and boxing, it's often done and it often works there. Because one can lead into the other, and some people can invite friends over. Say they do one person does it in one person's house, and then the next week they go to somebody else's house and they have another party, and apparently it can work quite well there. But I don't think it would work as well as if it was a month apart.
Fair enough. What about you, David? What's your thoughts on it? Do you agree with their approach in leaving things last minute, or do you agree with what Ben's saying? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I agree with Ben. Absolutely, I do. I think but the problem is they have absolutely shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, like no one's put them in this position but them. Obviously, they've done
it themselves.
Yeah.
I can they've announced 2 matches. I can guess other matches they're gonna do. Like I guess they're gonna do Cassidy versus Moxley 1-on-1 because I thought that was going to be the all-in match. I was kind of gutted when it wasn't because I would have watched. But then again, I suppose I now want to watch All Out because I want to see Cassidy versus Moxley. If that doesn't happen, I will eat my words, of course. I wonder. I don't think CMFTR and the Elite's happening anymore.
No,
I don't. So the only thing I can think is CM Punk versus MJF. But again, we're doing that with no build at all, which I think would be unwise. I don't think Tony Khan would do that. So
I think that's what kind of makes me believe. Sorry to cut you off, but
no,
I think that's what they're gonna. I think that's what that something is going to happen in the MJF Cole match where.
Have we lost Chaos?
Oh, we've lost Chaos.
We've lost Chaos. I thought, oh, he's back. There
we go.
Weird. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so I feel like some shenanigans is going to happen between MJF and Cole for it to rerun at All Out. Sorry, I think Clark pretty much. I think he said it. I think it was him that said it. He said it correctly that Cole will win, but he finds out that it wasn't for the AEW championship, and then that's how you know.
Because he didn't read the contract.
That was me.
Yeah. Oh, it was you, Ben. Sorry, apologies. Yeah. Sorry.
Clark, I think Clark later stole it, but I said it to him first.
The problem you have with that, as much as it's good storytelling, is this is the main event of an 80,000 show thing, and if it feels like the main event is finished by shenanigans, it's gonna leave it's not gonna leave the show with that element of kind of wow that AEW need to leave it with. Whereas what they're gonna leave, they may want to watch All Out, but it doesn't leave. It's like Clash at the Castle had a fairly naff ending with the karaoke, but like at least WWE is a massive major household name that can do whatever they want. Really, it's just the allure of it, and this is going to be a lot of people's exposure to AEW. And you can't afford. You can end it with the bad guy winning. That's not an issue, but you need to end it with something emphatic. Because if they don't end it with something emphatic, it could feel like where'd you be that kind of?
I mean, you could do the switcheroo in terms of a double turn, like because Cole has pretty much warned MJF that he said, "I will do whatever it takes to win the title." Everyone's obviously warming up to MJF, so obviously it could like almost be like an outsmarting thing. So obviously Cole wins through shenanigans, like he low blows him or whatever. He's the heel, but then obviously MJF says no, it wasn't for the title. That could actually sway the fans to say, yeah, cheers for MJF, boo Cole because he had to cheat to win. You know what I mean? So you could do a double turn.
I mean, that could happen, but it's very Vince Russo.
It is very, very Vince Russo. I think we should be building to heel Punk versus face MJF. I think that's where we should. That's where we should build to, because I think we've seen this match done twice now, and I'd like to see it with the roles reversed at some point down the line. It feels like an inevitable crash course that are being kept apart.
Yeah,
but so we got to kind of. I feel like that's where they're going to try and get it to.
I know. In basically 7 days though to build up something that's
But I think that might be the way they turn MJF face. To to kind of get it past All Out and then do it further down the line with Full Gear, Revolution, any of them. Do
Oh
it.
yeah, I
do it.
forgot. Winter is coming. Full Gear. Yeah. You got
Yeah.
a few. Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, like putting the other. Well, I mean, the other option. I hate the real world title thing. I hate it. I don't get it. Why are we defending a fake belt on television? I get Punk walking around saying he's got the thing, like having that claim. But why are we defending it? Like, why are AEW sanctioning title matches for titles that they are not affiliated with the company? If Punk did matches that they played up on commentary, we have not sanctioned this as a title match, but Punk is insisting that this is for the title, then that's more interesting than just, oh well, AEW are gonna kind of, it is a registered world title, like we're gonna have matches for it on the graphic and everything. It's just like so stupid. But I went on such a rant there, I've actually forgotten what point I was making. But like All Out's in Chicago, so it feels like they're going to put Punk in a match of prominence. They may have Punk main event. Who they have? Well, I mean, it's Punk, and it feels like if MJF's main eventing All In, I could see Punk main eventing All Out against who? I don't know.
Yeah.
Starks again for the 400th time.
But David, you might be onto something. You just got the wheels turning a little bit. So let's just say Cole MJF ends all in, and Punk all of a sudden decides to come out with his belt. But then you get like Tony Khan actually come out on screen and said, "Nope, in the show we're not doing this. We refuse to have this title and this title in the same ring together because this is not a sanctioned title." And just kind of build that up for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think
build it up to Double or Nothing.
I think you could build I mean, you can build it up as long as you like, really. Like, because I don't think MJ. I mean, what we've also got to consider is bidding war of 2024.
Yeah,
which is which can become it's I think it's become more and more obvious that it is storyline now. We're all convinced that MJF.
I'm still not. I'm
still not. You're still
not. I don't think so.
I think MJF's re-signed. But I mean, we've got that to consider as well. So whether we put it a full gear as being Punk's last and have Punk's heel motivation be trying to save the company, and which is obviously very hypocritical and ironic given all he's done there, and kind of have that be it, or have it a Winter is Coming and that be the last chance.
Yeah,
that Punk is before MJF wins and says, "No, I actually have re-signed. I've re-signed because I won't let AEW go to people like him." And have Punk just become this bitter old man, which I think bitter old man Punk is far more interesting than
it is 100%
pseudo face. Is he heel? Does it matter? Sort of thing, because they can't seem to make their minds up on what they want to do with Punk week to week. Like he was face this week, he's been heel. It was a few weeks ago he was heel. Because what was interesting was when Ricky Starks turned heel in the end of that. Their title match, I literally put in my review, I wrote in my review, this is really good planting seeds for the CM Punk heel turn. And I didn't think Starks had turned heel until I then watched Battle of the Belts and saw him nick the title off Liger, lick the trophy off Liger, and then I was like, oh no, he has turned. Well,
yeah.
And then I was kind of like, I was so confused, and my review must have looked very stupid. But like, I was convinced that Starks said that Punk had turned. I wrote it in my final notes. I was like, this is good, really good build to get that heel CM Punk with all the heel tactics he was pulling during the match. And then I was like, oh no, he's supposed to be the face. Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, it's all just very bizarre right now. I think, like, I don't think as much as I think AEW's on a really hot streak when it comes to like pay-per-view, the all-in, hype and everything like that. Some of their storytelling outside of MJF and Cole is poor.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it's poor, it's convoluted, it doesn't really make much sense. Stuff's just sort of happening. Even in some of their big programs, like Punk Joe doesn't make a ton of sense. Punk Starks made even less sense. It's just kind of like we're in this weird sort of holding pattern where like the AEW are making stars right now, but they're not necessarily making great stories.
Yeah,
and that's where it's getting a bit frustrating. So I don't know what they're going to do with All Out. Beyond just shambling some matches together last minute and hoping for the best. And it's like Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus. I'm sure it'll be great fun, but I watched a really, really great Darby Allin versus Christian Cage match that I probably would have rather watched at All Out than Darby and
Yeah.
Luchasaurus, and that sometimes is the problem with the Luchasaurus story. As much as I like
Yes.
Luchasaurus, I'd rather see Christian Cage wrestle because Christian
Yeah.
Cage is better. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro will be an awesome match, but the build's been rubbish.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing about it was hilarious. Him coming out and saying, "Oh yes, what was it? Was it like, oh, I need a redeemer, Miro."
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Such nonsense. And then
He's
Miro's
bickering.
promo on Collision was terrible. And it's like, oh, it's just dismal. But like the match will be awesome, so you kind of don't care. And that's sort of the problem, really, sometimes, isn't it? It's Tony Khan is
Yeah.
it's like the Rev Pro show I'm going to. The Rev Pro show has no build for almost any match at all. It's literally just, you guys want to see Ospreay versus Takagi? Here's Ospreay versus Takagi. You want to see Ishii versus Luke Jacobs? Here you go. And it's kind of the same. Whereas Progress's show have actually built their matches with months of storytelling. But I'm not going to that show. I'm not going to watch the built for months Spike Trivette versus Kid Lycos too much. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to watch Rev Pro because I want to see Will Ospreay wrestle. And that's kind of AEW's biggest strength, is they've got some of the best talent in the world. And Tony Khan can just put his toys in different combinations, and I'll pay to watch it.
It's looking like storytelling or Will Ospreay. Give me Ospreay.
Yeah. Simple. I would do the same thing. Screw it. It's Will Ospreay. He gets a pass. Fair dues. Yeah, me personally, I absolutely hate this tactic that they're doing. Obviously, I guess because of All In, they can't really give out all their cards for All Out because something's gonna happen there for it to obviously interfere with that. But
I feel
put
like
themselves in this position.
yeah.
They could have done this. They could have put All In a couple of weeks ago and just give themselves breathing room. Now they're literally shoving everything they can into Dynamite, and it's literally going. It's going faster than a Fast and Furious movie. It's crazy.
It's making the show unwatchable. Dynamite last week was unwatchable because it was too fast. This week's Dynamite looks even worse. We've reached the point now, and I never remembered it this bad. Where like Dynamite's not a terrible show. Of course it's not. There's great wrestling every week. There's good segments every week. It's just when you have like 100 segments in a show and 100 matches. I know you've complained about this for ages, Ben. That they don't give us enough time to breathe. But to me, it's getting worse and worse. Where we're hitting the point now where it's just like, stop, slow down. Why couldn't we have done this segment 3 weeks ago? Why couldn't we have done this segment 2 weeks ago? Why have we dragged it for weeks and weeks? And now we're just throwing everything at the wall to try and in like a barrage. And it's just so headache inducing. And it's like, what? Like looking at this week's show, like, what is it? The Hardys versus Aussie Open. Why is that match on there? I don't want to see the Hardys versus MJF and Adam Cole. So I don't care about that match because I want the heels to win. So it's like, it seems like they just, shambled some stuff together for Dynamite, as they normally do the show before, big pay-per-views. But it's just like, calm down, Tony. You don't need to book 400 angles in one show.
And you know what? They're doing that because I think I know I seen a tweet saying that Jay White said Bullet Club Gold is already in the UK. So they've probably sent a good amount of their wrestlers over there already.
Yeah, but they're on Dynamite this week. They're in a 6-man. It's Juice Robinson and the Guns versus Omega. Is it Omega and the Bucks?
Oh, is it?
Was it Omega and because the Bucks aren't in that 6-man.
Jay White is lying to me.
So Jay White, they'll probably bring the cardboard cutout over, won't they? And like, which is
maybe Jay White's just there himself because he lived in the UK for a while.
Yeah. Have the cardboard cutout wrestle. Like, remember, was it Yoshishiko, the blow up doll? Just have it be the cardboard cutout, and just have Kenny Omega versus the cardboard cutout.
Mark my words, that's gonna happen.
And it will
that blow up doll is over.
Yeah, and it will be better than Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy.
Ooh, that just gave me
110 let's swiftly move on from that dumpster fire. Goodness sake.
Oh, it's rubbish.
Just never again, TK. Never again, please. All right. Let me know your thoughts as well, guys, in the comments as well. If do you agree with their tactics, or is AEW just a bit too haphazard? Which I think it's a no-brainer they are right now. But leave your thoughts in the comments regarding that. So let's move on to, of course, WWE games. 20 questions, explosions, 3D effect. Post-production. Thank you very much, Ben. So in this game, pretty simple. You guys will be given 20 questions, not each. You have to share the 20 questions amongst yourselves. I can only answer a yes or no. By yes or no, it's one shot kill. So if you actually guess the game and it's wrong, then the game's over. But yeah, you have to. So you get 20 questions, and then if you use them all, then you have to give me the game, or you can answer beforehand. So very simple.
So
all that good stuff.
So we've only got one. We've only got one attempt to get the actual
get
game
the game.
itself right. Okay.
Yeah. So make sure you discussed it amongst yourselves. All right.
So we're allowed to confer.
Of course. Yeah. Do your thing. Don't worry. Your time.
Okay.
Well, there's no time, but go ahead.
Okay. Who wants to give the first question?
No. Okay. What do you define then as guessing the game? Can you say a game series, or is that cheating?
No, you have
individual
to
game.
Yes,
can I ask?
But no, but I mean, could I ask the question? Is it a SmackDown versus Raw game, or is that technically cheating?
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay, is it a SmackDown versus Raw game?
There we go.
No.
Okay. Can I ask the next question?
Go ahead. Amongst I'm gonna be quiet.
What was the game released after 2010?
No. I'm gonna double check that, but no.
Okay, the fact he's got a double check makes me think that
it can't be a SmackDown versus Raw though.
But it's not a SmackDown versus Raw. But that also means that it more than likely.
What was your question again?
Was the game released after 2010?
I think I'm right. Yeah, no.
No. Okay, I was going to say the fact you have to check it makes it likely that it's not a game with a year in the title.
I have a question. Is it exclusive? Is it exclusive to a certain console?
Yes.
Oh. Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that takes out
a good amount of games.
Especially ones around that time.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Question 4. Is it a SmackDown game?
No.
No. Okay, so it's not Here Comes the Pain, not Just Bring It, not Your Role.
No.
So it's none of those. I don't think All Stars was a.
I have
exclusive. Go on.
I have a follow-up. I have a question. Is the console that it's exclusive to made by Nintendo?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So presumably it was on the Wii then.
So,
no.
Oh,
5 questions, by the way.
That's 5. Thank you. Right. So it's a Nintendo exclusive.
He wasn't sure if it was after 2010, which makes me think it's
which makes me think it's around that time.
And we was
no research, by the way. You can't cheat.
I'm using my brain here.
So there wasn't a game exclusive to the DS.
It must be the Wii.
No,
but there was no Wii exclusive game, and I don't think there was any exclusive to the Switch either.
The Switch, it was
it wouldn't Battlegrounds would have been PS4 because I played it on the PS4, so it wouldn't be Battlegrounds. Go on.
Is the console GameCube?
Say again, sorry?
Is the console exclusive to GameCube?
Yes.
Okay, the 2010 thing really threw me off.
You threw me off.
I think Chaos just. I think you
said was the game made after 2010, and I was like, no,
it's not.
No, but the confusion you had over it.
So what console? I know it was a Nintendo console, but what console was No Mercy?
That was N64.
That was N64. That was N64, wasn't it? So GameCube. When was GameCube active?
Around 2010 to 2000.
No, well before that.
No way.
Yeah,
I think
GameCube.
I I remember when I was 4 years old, I went over my mate's house and he had a GameCube. So this was in 2006. And even
Make
then,
me
the
old.
Wii had already been out and we thought
Yeah.
it was old.
God,
So-
I'm that old.
So in 2006, it was already old.
Yes.
I think GameCube was late 90s.
No. Late 90s was 64.
So did the GameCube come after N64?
Yes.
I presume it
Is
was
that a
early,
question?
right at the start of
No.
the 2000s.
So that was a question. That was
No,
a question.
It was a
me.
question to Dryzzy.
That was the question to me.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Crazy.
I am clearly old as dirt. Yes.
Oh,
So
it's
it went N64, GameCube, Wii.
So it wouldn't have been so because the only one I can think of off the top of my head is No Mercy, and I think that was N64.
I have an idea. I might know what it is.
Oh.
Well,
But
share
the
it in the
issue-
share it in the chat because it doesn't have to be an actual answer. We can don't share it in the chat. You can tell us because it's not an
So
actual.
we can
answer.
do that.
Yeah, you can tell
Okay.
us. Sorry.
So I put it in the chat or say it
Just-
out
Yeah,
Hey,
loud?
just
just
say
talk
it,
about
just
it.
say
Like
it,
you're not gonna,
yeah.
I'm not gonna cast it as a question unless you ask me. So it's fine. Go ahead. Do your thing.
It's between Day of Reckoning 1 or Day of Reckoning 2.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
I
Know
don't.
which one? I don't know.
I don't know. Didn't know those games existed. So
It's
can I ask?
Trish-
Can I ask a
Go
question?
ahead. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Is the game in question a sequel?
Yes.
Well, I think we've got the answer.
If you're wrong, if you're wrong, no, we're gonna look like idiots. But go. I mean, I don't know what else it would be. So as a sequel to another game. So
Go for it, Drizzy.
go for it.
Is the game Day of Reckoning 2?
Yes, it is. Day of Reckoning 2. Fuck you, David.
Hey!
That was a good question. You killed it there. That was a good one. Flipping hell. I
Well
was not
done.
expecting you to come out
Well
with
done,
that.
Drizzy.
Yeah. Day
Never heard
of
of it.
Reckoning 2. I actually got some little footage here on this so you can see what it looked like. 1 second. Share.
Not one I've ever heard of. This one.
I had Day of Reckoning 1.
There you go.
I want to find out the release date of the Wii.
2008.
So, yeah.
I think.
This was it's actually underrated. It was pretty good. So yeah, this is Day of Reckoning 2. Storyline was when a part of you was the what was it? Hold on. The storyline was you are at the top of the Raw roster, and then after WrestleMania 20, if Evolution gets disbanded, Triple H leaves, and then all of a sudden you're a manager with Stacey Keebler.
Mohammed Hassan, crikey.
Yeah, it's just it was pretty nuts. So yeah, this came out 29th of August 2005.
Woo.
But generally,
this was at the time where the SmackDown vs. Raw was PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this would have been this would have been the other options for
Yeah, the Wii was released in 2006.
2006. Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, the
Okay.
GameCube was 2001, and the Xbox 360 was 2005.
Yeah, 'cause
so
I
this
had-
was kind of based off the SmackDown versus Raw kind of engine, though. So as
Yeah,
you
you can see it's very similar gameplay. To, yeah.
So yeah, good work, guys. Flipping out. I was like, yeah, this one's definitely out there. You ain't gonna get it, but that you just narrowed down so quickly. So yeah, impressive.
Well, I remember Nintendo also had exclusive games on the GameCube and not GameCube on the Game Boys too. So it's like if it's made by Nintendo, that narrows it down a good amount. So
yeah. So also GameCube also had the WrestleMania games as well. They had X8 and WrestleMania 19.
Yep.
But yeah, good work, guys. Good work. Let me take this off now. Cool. All right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. That you did way better than the last one with the posters. So yeah, that's a good one. So but yeah, don't worry, that one's coming back soon. So yeah, if that is all, then yeah, this has been the end of the episode. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on this glorious episode. Thank you, David. Thank you, Drizzy. Thank you, Ben. As always, make sure you go and like, share, and subscribe. Goes a long way. Also, big shout out to Wrestling Republic as well for hitting 60K followers as well. Huge milestone. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on this quest of wrestling domination and taking over the. No, I'm joking. I'm chatting rubbish, but yeah.
No, we're taking over. We're taking over everything.
We gotta be humble. We gotta be humble. We gotta be humble. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, we go a few days from All In. Myself, Ben, and David's gonna be there as well. We're gonna be doing a vlog. I'm pretty sure we're doing a vlog as well. I believe at some point. So yeah, make sure you go check that out. Of course, make sure you go and check out the Daily Show that happens every day at 8 p.m. And what other times they been?
3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, make sure you go.
Also,
go ahead, Drizzy.
Don't forget wrestling off the air.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Show.
Yes.
And that is 3:15 a.m. in the UK, which is, I believe, 10:15 Eastern and 8:15 Pacific, I believe.
Yes.
Killed it. I wish I was that. I wish I knew that by heart, but yeah. So yeah, make sure you go check that out. And
also finally there is the other show, David's Delicious DDTs, which comes next, which will come at some point in the next 500 years.
Delicious DDTs. Yeah, I've got to check this one out.
That is catchy.
Sheldon Savage suplexes. There we go. Some point in the next 500 years.
Review DDTs.
Yeah, just the way he wraps his arm around his head. Really tasty.
Jake Roberts for life. Jake Roberts for life.
All that good stuff. Be sure to check that out. I have been your host, Chaos. He has been David. He has been Ben. Down there has been Drizzy. Until next time, guys. Peace. Delicious DDTs. I love that. That's good. Yeah.
That is really good. Catchy. That's a shirt.
Put on a t-shirt.